So, today we're going to dig into a really powerful and kind of counterintuitive idea. The thought that our toughest challenges, the things we try so hard to avoid, might not just be obstacles. They might actually be the very source of our greatest strengths. It's a weird thought, isn't it? I mean, we spend so much of our time and energy trying to make life easier, to get around difficulties. But what if those very hardships are actually opportunities in disguise? Whenever a crisis hits, you basically see two types of people emerge. On one side, you've got what you could call the merchants of fear. These are the folks who spread anxiety, who try to exploit the crisis, and who hoard resources for themselves. But then you have the architects of strength. And these are the people who looked adversity right in the eye. They don't just survive it, they use it to build new skills, new capabilities, and to find opportunity right there in the middle of all the chaos. Let's look at a real-world example of this on a massive, massive scale. We're going to look at how an entire country literally turned a long history of disaster into a world-leading strength. Okay, so picture this. It's July 2021, and these devastating floods are just ripping through Western Europe. In Germany, and we're talking about a wealthy, highly developed, organized nation, around 220 people lost their lives. So many of them were just caught completely by surprise. Now hold that number in your head and compare it to this. The year before, 2020, Bangladesh got slammed by cyclone Amphan. Now this was a far more severe storm, hitting a country that's poorer and one of the most densely populated places on Earth. And the death toll? Just 26. So wait a minute, how is that even possible? Well, this quote from a German news outlet, of all places, just says it all. The answer, they reported, is experience. See, after a truly horrific cyclone back in 1970, Bangladesh was forced to learn. They had no other choice. And over decades, they built one of the most effective disaster preparedness systems in the entire world. Their past adversity, it became their present-day expertise. Their greatest weakness became their superpower. But look, this pattern of turning hardship into a capability, it doesn't just happen on a national scale. It happens in individual lives, too. Let me tell you a personal story. This is Shuli, and these are her own words, describing a choice she had to make all the time, a choice between eating or learning. And faced with that kind of extreme poverty, she often chose the notebook. She chose to go hungry so she could study. Her path was just anything but easy. Her parents married her off young, hoping it would be an escape from poverty. Then, her in-laws tried to stop her from getting an education, and they eventually kicked both her and her supportive husband out of the house. And yet, through all of that, she not only got into medical college, but this year, she graduated. She's a doctor. And Shuli's story, as incredible as it isn't a one-off. Not at all. Every single year, students from backgrounds of immense hardship are achieving what seems impossible. You've got the sons and daughters of day laborers, of fishermen, of vegetable sellers, and they are fighting their way into medical schools and engineering schools, proving that adversity can forge the most incredible determination. So, okay, we've seen that it happens. We've seen the proof. But the really crucial question, the one that matters to all of us, is how? How do we intentionally build this kind of inner strength so we can face our own challenges? Because it's one thing to admire this kind of resilience from a distance, right? But it's something else entirely to figure out how to cultivate it in ourselves. What are the actual tools we can use? Well, the key seems to lie in this idea called holistic well-being. And it's not about just one thing. It's about achieving a state of total fitness by actively taking care of yourself across 4 interconnected areas. You've got the physical, that's your body's health, your energy. Then there's the mental, your focus, your clarity, the social, your connections with other people, and finally the spiritual, your sense of purpose, your why. The idea is to build a foundation across all 4 that's strong enough to weather any storm. And the path to building this capability is, surprisingly simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Step 1 is you learn the methods. This could be anything: a consistent workout routine for physical resilience, maybe a daily mindfulness practice for mental fitness, or just committing to weekly calls with friends to strengthen those social bonds. But learning the method is just the start. The most critical step, the one where the magic happens, is regular practice. It's that consistency that builds the muscle of resilience and lets you truly unlock your potential. And all of this, it brings the entire idea right back home, back to you, right now in your life. Because every single challenge we face, no matter how big or small, contains a hidden seed of opportunity. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. I want you to look at the biggest difficulty you're facing today. And instead of seeing it as just this awful obstacle you have to get over, ask yourself this: what new strength is this challenge waiting to build in me? The answer to that question, it really could change everything.